Welcome to One-on-One with Expert Flyer. I'm your host, Lisa Caslin, and we have a special guest today. Jackie Sills-Dellegrazie joins us. She is a blogger at the Globetrotting Teacher.com, and we tapped her because we were curious about what's going on at easyJet these days. Last month, I don't know if any of you caught this, but they did make an announcement that they are in the midst of, well, they've already launched, I guess, a low-cost carrier alliance of sorts, and they have a number of players joining them. And we wanted to kind of get a little bit of background from Jackie to get her thoughts. So let me welcome you, Jackie. It's your first time here. Thanks for joining.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So before we get into the meat and potatoes, tell us a little bit about the Globetrotting Teacher and what you do and how you do it.
Yeah, so I started a blog back in 2015, and I blog about my travels, but I also blog about how I make that possible using miles and points with my meager teacher salary. So it's kind of a blend of, you know, my travels and travel hacking, travel award, you know, tips and points. So,
okay, awesome. Yeah. So you have been following, you know, some of the action going on the alliance front. I know that you've done several blogs on it. So what's your take on this alliance associated with the easyJet?
You know, I think on the surface, it's always good when airlines partner together, and, you know, it usually means that there are benefits for flyers that are flying those airlines. And I think that this is a step in the right direction in the sense that, you know, it maybe it helps to connect like these long-haul carriers that are part of the alliance, like WestJet and Norwegian, and connecting them over in Europe with easyJet and even some of Norwegian's points further on. But I think that there's still some way to go here with this alliance, and I hope that maybe it's a starting point and then they move to improve it a little bit. I think, you know, for frequent flyers and even just your casual traveler, I think part of the benefits of alliances are, you know, the reciprocal loyalty program benefits that you get. But even beyond that, just some of the conveniences that you kind of come to expect, like having your bags transfer and connect through where you don't have to recheck them. And I think that with the easyJet alliance where it stands right now, some of that is not yet worked out, and perhaps it will be as time goes on. But for right now, I'd like to see where it goes before I say it'll be this awesome thing for all travelers. You know?
Yeah. I agree, and I think you know to your point, I think it will help those long-haul, low-cost carriers like Norwegian, you know, possibly compete better against the legacy carriers who are also now launching some no-frills airlines, right? Isn't Eurowings, I think, is one of them?
Yep, absolutely. And you know, Norwegian's not going to get a whole lot of help from legacy carriers here in North America, right?
No.
So, you know, United and American, they're not going to help Norwegian because obviously Norwegian's bringing all of this competition with their lower prices, you know. So I do think that it will help Norwegian, you know, expand some of their network and take advantage of some of the customer base that easyJet has and even WestJet, but just because the names of all these airlines will be, you know, partnered together, it'll bring their awareness of their brand up for customers who maybe haven't heard of them or flown with them. I actually get questions about Norwegian within like my blog and on my Facebook group as well, just because for people who aren't frequent flyers, they'll ask questions like, well, you know, tell me about Norwegian. Is it okay? Like, what kind of airline is this? So I even just think like brand awareness too is a great thing for them, but definitely expanding their customer base with what easyJet has, it will be beneficial in a lot of regards for them.
Yeah, and I think, you know, also the code share scenario, particularly for people who aren't necessarily frequent flyers, they don't really understand. And we actually did a post a while ago, sort of, you know, an anatomy of that whole, you know, process. So, you know, let's say I'm flying out of New York, I'm going to London. I'm booking through American, but guess what? That flight is actually operated by British Airways, and it's not always apples to apples. If I book that flight through American, I'm likely paying more than if I had gone to the British Airways portal for the same flight, essentially, right?
It depends, but you're on the right track. But it depends only in the sense that I always have to look out for taxes and fees, and British Airways actually does charge, quite high fees going transatlantic. But if you were to flip the scenario that you just gave, for example, if I were to fly an American from North America to London and then say transfer from London on to another point further in Europe, that code share relationship with the alliances, it can be really beneficial because I can maybe fly an American over to London and then from London connect onto a British Airways flight further on. But the benefit of that code share is that I don't have to recheck my bags. I don't have to go back through security necessarily. I have to go through customs, of course, because I'm landing at a European airport. But those perks, I guess, would you say, things that flyers are used to having are conveniences. They're worked out already. Where with the easyJet alliance, that's not exactly worked out yet. You have to, for example, get your bags and recheck them when you arrive at Gatwick in London.
I'm sure they're gonna work on that because I think a number of people have cited that as an oversight, or for lack of a better description. All right, so then to kind of wrap it up, I guess the advice is let's keep checking this out and see how things evolve. But it's a good thing. It's a good thing.
Definitely a good thing. And I hope that, like you said, it keeps evolving because partnerships, flyers benefit from alliances and partnerships, and the more they can add to those partnerships and alliances in terms of from the flyer's point of view, the more successful they'll be.
Okay, terrific. All right, so if people want to visit your site, remind us again of the URL.
Sure, it's Globetrotting.teacher.com.
Okay, perfect. Well, we look forward to seeing you again, Jackie. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
Have a great day.
You too.